right, you guys can hear me? All right. Hello everyone. I'm glad you guys are all here. We got a packed house today. We have a lot of people. So hopefully you guys had a good night last night. It was a big win. How about them Longhorns? Yeah! Let's go! Yeah, so today, my name is Zack. Today I'll be sharing a little bit about how God has been working in my life since I moved to Austin last year. First of all, I'd just like to say, it is a real privilege and great opportunity to be up here sharing. We had this event 1 year ago, and I was sitting in the back row, far back in the back table over there, and never would I have imagined that 1 year later I would have the opportunity to be up here sharing. So I'd also like to say that all the glory, honor, and praise goes to God. I couldn't do any of this without Him. And I pray that, and I hope as you listen to some of these stories that God is the main focus and He's magnified, not myself. So next slide, please. So yeah, first of all, I'd just like to say welcome everyone to Austin Chinese Church, otherwise known as ACC, not to be confused with Austin Community College and Atlantic Coast Conference. So just by a quick show of hands, how many of you have never been here before if it's your first time? All right, well, welcome to you guys. How about everybody else? I'm assuming you guys are returning, so we have a lot of new faces here today. So like I said, I'll be sharing a little bit about how God has been working in my life since I moved here. First up, just a little introduction about myself. I am currently a graduate student, second year at UT, studying mechanical engineering. So being a graduate student, it means two things. Number one, I'm old, and number two, I'm kind of crazy, right? So I graduated from Purdue University in 2022. I decided that I enjoyed school so much I'd just come back and get some more school, 4 more years, I guess. So I originally moved here. I moved here last year from the state of Indiana. When I say Indiana, most people go where is that? I've never heard of that. For those who are a little bit better at geography, they know it's in the Midwest, somewhere up there near Chicago. They think of cornfields, farmland, basketball, football, flat terrain, and cold weather. So a little bit about my family. So I'm actually recording this right now, so I can share with my parents later. So hi Mom and Dad. So I'm really blessed to have a really loving and supportive family. Both of my parents, they're originally from China. I was actually born in China too. They came to the U.S. in the 2000 for school, and they're first generation Christian. So essentially, when I moved to the States, I grew up in a Christian household. I am the oldest child. I have a younger sister. Her name is Zoe. She is about 4 years younger than I am, and she currently studies speech language and hearing sciences at Purdue University. So if you know what speech pathology or audiology is, that's her field. So yeah, moving on. I'll talk a little bit about some of my hobbies and interests. I know we're all hungry. I don't want to keep you guys too long, so for the sake of lunch, I have a lot of hobbies. I could talk about this for hours, but I just limited myself to 6, which is still a lot. Yeah. So first up, basketball. I love playing and watching basketball. So of course, basketball is more fun with friends. So up here on the picture on the left, that is our AACM co-ed team last year. So I see a lot of y'all here in the crowd. So yeah, I really enjoyed playing with you guys last year. On the right is pickleball. So if you didn't know, it is the trendiest, fastest growing sport in the United States. I often like to joke that I play pickleball because I'm not athletic enough to play tennis and I'm too poor to play golf. So I play pickleball, and I'm actually the pickle master, as James Lee here deemed me yesterday for Epic. So if you want to play pickleball sometime, just let me know. I'm always down to play. Next slide, please. So on the left, I'm an avid fisherman. This picture was taken right on Lady Bird Lake in June, I believe. So the reason why it's in front of the Google building. You can see across the lake. The reason I took this picture was this is my first fish that I caught here in Austin. So I just want to commemorate it. Don't worry, I did not eat it. It didn't become my dinner. I just practiced catch and release, so I just threw it back in the lake. On the right, I also really enjoy skateboarding and longboarding. Sometimes you might see me on campus longboarding around. I currently own 3 boards. two regular and one electric. So if you're ever interested in learning how to longboard or you want to longboard with me, just let me know, I'm always down. Next slide, please. Piano, I love playing the piano. This is my keyboard setup in my apartment. So fun fact, I actually got keyboard here before I got a mattress. So for the first couple of days when I moved to Austin, I was sleeping on my friend's air mattress. But I moved here, the first day I came here, I bought a keyboard. So on the right, so I actually started a YouTube channel during COVID time. I just love playing piano and posting like covers of popular songs. I currently have over 100 subs. I only need about 900. I need 900 more until I can hit 1,000, and then I can monetize my channel, so I can drop out of school and become a full-time YouTuber. Right? That's the goal. So, yeah. All right. Next slide. Of course, last but not least, one thing I like watching more than K-dramas and anime, football. So it says up there in bold text, I love football. To say that I'm obsessed is an understatement. Collegiately, I root for the Purdue Boilermakers, the Texas Longhorns. It is my personal opinion that Texas is back, and we are winning the Natty this year. So, let's go. And, I also follow the Indianapolis Colts in the NFL. But just to paint a picture of like how dedicated of a fan I am, I follow the scouting reports for when it's draft season. I follow the weekly training reports. I follow the weekly injury reports, trade rumors. I basically watch every down of football. I get stressed when it's third down. I get more stressed when they go for it on fourth down. So, yeah, so next slide. How many of you guys are from the Dallas area? Yeah, so this happened on Sunday Night Football last year. As you can see, it was a pretty close game. I excruciatingly sat through the entire game and watched it. So, yeah, and next slide, please. If you're from the Houston area, I know all about the Houston Texans. The Colts and the Texans are in the same division, so both teams are to say were not great last year. So, moving on, I moved here. Next slide, please. I moved here it's a little, okay, it's there. It was a little cut off on that screen. I moved here in August of last year. So when I first moved here, I made it a really high priority, essentially, to get plugged into a Christian ministry on campus, as well as finding a church to attend on Sundays. So first week of school, when I was walking down Speedway, I was introduced to InterVarsity AACM, Epic Movement, and I'm also part of a graduate chapter of InterVarsity called Graduate IV. I just really want to say, like, for those of you who were in AACM and Epic last year, I'm really thankful for you guys and truly grateful that you guys welcomed me into your ministry. As someone who moved here last year, who didn't know a single person on campus, like, you guys made me feel welcome, and I became close friends with many of you, so I'm deeply appreciative and grateful for that. On Sundays, I was first, the logo, the purple logo on the top right, I was first introduced to ACC by a friend of mine that went to college with me. So he went to Purdue with me. His family is from Austin. So I was introduced to that. His brother actually is here, Daniel Zhu, right there in the middle. So essentially, it's actually pretty interesting. When he was at Purdue, my family's from West Lafayette, so that's where Purdue is. My family took care of him. When I moved here first in August, his family took care of me. So we essentially traded spots. Yeah. The bottom logo is the Austin Stone. I also went to the Austin Stone a couple of times. And throughout the months of August and September, I went to both churches multiple times. Towards the end of September, I think I committed to stay at ACC, which is here, and just go here for the long term. So one thing about ACC is the second hour, which is what we are doing right now. ACC is separated into two sections on Sundays, first and second hour. The first hour is English service, which we all just went to. The second hour, there's many activities that you can choose to do if you stick around. Actually, let me go back one sec. I just want to explain the reason why I stuck around at ACC. I kind of skipped over that. So for two reasons. Number one, the parking lot. So ACC has a gigantic parking lot, and I'm sure none of us had trouble finding parking space today, right? When we came in. coming from a smaller church, growing up in a smaller church, I was not used to the traffic rush getting into church. So I had to park my car like 5 minutes away from church several times. I was not used to that. And especially after church, traffic jam, that was like unheard of for me to experience traffic coming out of church. So there's a parking lot. Number two, and more seriously, Austin Chinese Church is more similar to the type of church I grew up going to, Chinese Heritage Church. It's a medium-sized church. It's multi-generational. That really appealed to me. So they have a children's ministry, they have a youth ministry, you see older folks as well, college ministry, of course. So that also appealed to me. So yeah, I was saying about second hour. So second hour, they have many activities to do. So they have, you can either, if you want to stick around, they have something called discovery groups, DGs, which is essentially a fancy way of saying adult Sunday school. I guess they just don't want to use the word school to scare people off. So they have that. They also have, if you want, you can serve in the children's ministry, you can serve in the youth ministry. There's Quest, which is a college group. Or you could go to the Cantonese service and the Mandarin service, which happens second hour. So out of all of those options, I chose none of the above. Instead, I chose to go home or drive home, sit on my couch and watch football. So the reason why I brought up football is football actually plays a role in my church journey here. So as you can see, football is pretty much like an idol for me at that time, and I'll kind of talk about how God broke down that idol for me. So moving on, next slide, please. So up here, you can see that I eventually got involved in ACC Quest, October of 2022. So you might be wondering, like, when did that happen? When did I stop going home to watch football every day after lunch or after service, and why? The answer is pretty simple. Just one word: losing. So we all hate losing. It's not fun. My team was losing a lot. So one day, I'm not sure why, I decided that, hey, I heard the announcement from PG after the service, and they said something about Quest, and they were meeting in this building called the John Sung building, which is this building right here. So it kind of piqued my curiosity, and it's probably the Holy Spirit that led me here, but I just decided that, hey, I'll stick around for second hour, I'll check it out. So that picture on the left, that was actually my first day at Quest. It was a very special day, actually. So in the picture, you can see that we are packing gift bags full of candy, treats. We also wrote encouraging notes and messages. So the reason why we were doing this was we were going to the community around us. It was around Halloween time, which is why we have candy. We were going to the community around us, and we were encouraging them and blessing them with these gift bags and just talking with them. So that was a very special day. I think God was really calling out to me that something was missing in my life, like the outreach and the community. So the first day at Quest was something, we did a community event, which I really, really needed. The picture on the right, that is, so Pamela, who is in the green, kind of in the front center, she graduated in the December semester, in the fall semester last year, so we just had a little celebration for her. And she's currently on a long-term mission trip in the Middle East right now, so keep her in her prayers, please. Next slide. So this is a fun event we did in June. This is a dumpling making event. All I have to say is that Corey makes very beautiful dumplings. He's very talented. Yeah. So I really enjoyed eating the dumplings that he made. Yeah. Next slide, please. So one thing that really drew me to ACC and that I really appreciate about this church is their heart for mission and outreach. So you may or may not know, but the location in Austin where ACC is, it's not the most affluent area of Austin. And I truly believe that God has placed this church here for a reason. We have a privilege, we have an opportunity, we have a responsibility to really love, care for, serve, and bless our neighbors around us, to be the hands and feet of Jesus, right? So ACC has a plethora of serving opportunities. We have, so just this past summer, they had multiple short-term mission trips. Belize, they went to northern Thailand, Japan, and currently there's a mission trip going around to the around the United States. So in December of this year, you can see on the picture on the left, we hosted a welcome brunch, a Christmas-themed welcome brunch for some of the families in the neighborhoods around us. We had singing, we had music, we had a skit, and guess who they recruited to play Santa Claus? Yeah. The picture on the right is just recently, just last month, we went to Graham Elementary School, which is the school right, I don't know what direction, maybe that way. So the school right over there, the school that is right like next to ACC, and we were able to host a welcome breakfast for the teachers there and just bless them. So not pictured here, I've also been a part of several food packing events. So ACC partners with an organization called Austin Voices for Education and Youth, AVEY, and we packed like hundreds of bags of food and we distributed it to people in need. So just those are just, I'm painting a picture of just some of the opportunities that ACC has given me to serve, and I'm truly thankful for that. Next slide, please. So in March of this year, I signed up to be a Sunday school teacher. You can see in this picture that these kids seem to like me, except for the kid in the front who seems to be asleep. That's okay. So essentially, I signed up to be a Sunday school teacher. I taught 4th and 5th grade. 5th graders for about 2 months, and 5th graders for the rest of the, 4th graders for the rest of the time. So this picture right here was actually my last day as their teacher. I'll explain that in a bit. But at this time, I also committed to serving if you guys know what Awana is, it's like a children's program that happens on Friday nights. Some of you may have grown up going to that. I also committed to being an Awana leader for this school year, but I have since decommitted, and I'll explain the reasons for that in a little bit. I don't want to make me sound bad, but yeah, there's a reason for it. Next slide, please. So in April of 2023, I officially became a church member here at ACC. So in March, which was when I made the decision, I had been attending ACC for about half a year at that time, and I felt like God was really affirming my decision to stay, and I felt like I found a community and a home that I could really see myself here for the next few years. So I went through the classes, and you can see Pastor Gaylord welcoming us as new church members that day. So next slide, please. In August of this year, I also had the opportunity to go on the youth retreat. You can see I'm the guy under that arrow. There's a lot of people, but I promise you I'm there. I'm the guy under the arrow. So initially, when I heard about this opportunity, I wanted to go, but my reasons were not for the right reasons. So I wanted to go because I heard that my friends were also going as counselors. Like Austin was there, Silas, Elliot, Sarah, Hannah, Bethany, Chelsea. So I was like, wow, this is a great time I can go hang out with friends. But like I said, that's not the right reason, right? When I went there, it was a really great experience. I connected and bonded with my group of kids, which were the 6th grade boys that were assigned to me. We really grew in those short 3 to 4 days. So next slide, please. And actually, during the retreat, one of the pastors pulled me aside. We had a talk, and he actually he invited me, and he gave me an opportunity to serve full-time, so not just at the youth retreat, but serve full-time as a youth counselor. So as it says up here, my next chapter, moving forward, after a lot of prayer, deliberation, talking to friends, family, self-reflection, I felt like it was a great decision to take that opportunity. So moving forward, I will be the Lighthouse Youth Group's 6th grade boys counselor. 6th grade boys counselor. So I feel like I have a really great opportunity to just mentor, bond with, and just be a great role model for these kids. As you know, this is volunteer work. I'm not paid in any way. My salary essentially is paid in food and snacks. But we all know that bonding experience and seeing these kids grow is priceless. So I'm looking forward to what God can do in me as a Lighthouse 6th grade boys counselor in the future. Yeah, so just want to wrap things up with some key takeaways. I want to drop some old man wisdom on you guys before we eat lunch. First up, your faith is your own. So I know college college means freedom, right? We're all here. Our parents are not here. It's easy to kind of stray away from going to church, and like it's at this point in your life when you have to make the decision, like, do I want to own my faith? Do I want to take it seriously? I personally have many friends growing up. When we went off to college, I saw some of them leave church and not go anymore. I pray for these people. Some of them have since gone back to church. Some of them are still, I'm still praying for. So essentially the one thing that I want to point out here is that, one thing I want to emphasize about your faith as a Christian is that being a Christian affects your entire life in order to walk in step with God. Let me repeat that. Being a Christian affects your entire life in order to walk in step with God. So as the Apostle Paul said, we can't be like those who are lukewarm Christians, right? We can't have one foot in and one foot out. We have to, being a Christian means like you're putting your whole self there. Our whole self is transformed. We have to push all the chips in. It's all or nothing. We can't just put on our church hat on Sunday and Friday and take it off on Monday. So this needs to be like a whole like transformation of your life, essentially. Number 2 is consistency and commitment, CNC. This kind of goes along with my first point up there, but more so that Austin has a plethora of great churches you can go to. I know this is we're having our church caravan and church tour right now. I just really want to encourage you to like visit the churches here. There's so many of them: Austin Bridge, the Well, Mosaic, Red Rocks, ACC. There's so many great churches here. I just hope that as you go to those churches and visit, just keep in mind the things you're learning and learn about the church. And I pray that after the church tours are over, that you can find a church and consistently go to and just be plugged into and committed to. So point number 3, engage in church as a community. So as I was mentioning, ACC is a like multi-generational church. There's so much, and there's also a lot of outreach events, right? So being here, I've gotten the opportunity to talk to so many people that are older than me, right? And learn about their life experiences. Engaging in church as a community also means like serving and being plugged into. You can go to the Sunday schools, you can go to Quest. So there's so many ways you can engage in church as a community. When I first came here, as I was saying, I did not do that. I was going home to watch football every Sunday, which was the exact opposite of engaging in church as a community. So point number 4, being proactive. So, taking the initiative, right? Sometimes you have to seek out these opportunities. They're not going to come to you. So seek out ways to serve. If I didn't sign my name up on that sign-up sheet for being a children's teacher, that chapter in my life would not have happened. So being proactive and just taking the initiative sometimes. The last point right here, trusting in God. It's a lot easier said than done, right? We all know that our lives have ups and downs, and this is it's a constant work in progress that we work every single day. So I just want to leave us off with some biblical encouragement. For those of us, especially for the freshmen here, college is a tough time, right? I know that. I've been through it. I just want to encourage you guys, for those of you who are stressed, nervous, have many doubts, I just have these 3 Bible verses that have kind of guided me and shaped me, my life, that I always stick with. So the first one I want to share is Joshua 1:9 from the ESV. It says, "Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be frightened and do not be dismayed, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go." The second one is Proverbs chapter 3, verses 5-6. It says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart and do not lean on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will make straight your paths." The last one I want to close us off with is Philippians chapter 4, 6-7. It says, "Do not be anxious about anything, but in everything, by prayer and supplication, with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God. And the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus." So I just want to say thank you guys for listening. I hope that this has been an encouragement to you. If you want to talk to me afterwards, I'd be happy to. I know many of you, but a lot of you guys I haven't met. So I'm really, really looking forward to getting to know you. Yeah, thank you. Have a good Sunday.